Anthropic just can't stop rolling out new features, and they just introduced yesterday their latest model to date, which is Claude Opus 4.7. It's an evolution from 4.6, obviously. They shared a side-by-side comparison here, but as usual, that's kind of theory for us, and what we want to do is actually put it to the tests and see how it fares compared to the over recent model when it comes to vibe coding new products. Okay, so I'm going to actually run the same kind of tests that I ran in the last videos when it came to comparing models. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to build the front-end prototype of a last-minute ticketing app here that I actually built using Lovable in a wake of a free webinar I organized yesterday. By the way, if you want to register to this monthly webinar, make sure to subscribe via the link below. I run them like each month, and it's the opportunity for you to actually visualize how I vibe code apps, what's my step-by-step methodology. So that being said, here's the app that we are aiming for. We have like a PRD and a design system file that is ready to be used and on which we are going to run these various three models. So to make that side-by-side comparison, I just opened 3 projects. So I have one dedicated to GPT 5.4 with the Markdown file that includes the design system, another Markdown file with the PRD here. So for GPT 5.4, we're going to actually test it out directly from Codex. So we're going to open the dangerously skip permission mode from Codex so that we don't have like to validate the request from Codex and it can like run fully autonomously. That's also exactly the same thing that we are going to do for Opus 4.7 and for Sonnet 4.6 as well. We tested in a former video Sonnet 4.6, so it's going to be a good model to compare the two others to. So that being said, let's just start like running the task here. So let's build a React plus Vite front-end prototype based on the following PRD and design system. Okay. All right, I'm just going to copy paste it so that I can reuse it. And here we go. Let's launch the task here and let's do exactly the same thing for the two others. All right. And again, for Sonnet 4.6 here and design system, let's again add it here. Okay. Okay, so the build passed for these 3 models here. So what we got is, it processed during around 8 minutes. I don't have the exact timing displayed here, but regarding Opus 4.7 and Sonnet 4.6, I have like the precise time it took. So here you can see that Sonnet 4.6 was a bit faster. In both cases, GPT 5.4 was slower. So let's actually spin up the browser here. So let's actually start with GPT 5.4. So the dev server is running at localhost 5174. So let's actually open it up. It's actually not opening up, so I'm just going to ask them again. Can you run the server locally? Okay, and in the meantime, let's just have a look at the others. So on this spot here, I have Opus 4.7. Okay, and I'm just going to open up Sonnet 4.6 as well, which is supposed to be running as well. Let's actually open it up in another window here. Okay. All right, so that looks pretty good. It's actually close to what we got with Lovable here. Let's actually isolate this one. Okay. So this one is Opus 4.7, this one is Sonnet 4.6, and we are going to have now GPT 5.4 running here. Okay, so it's still not working. Let me just open up quick the terminal. All right, so that was not the right port they indicated me. So, all right. There we go. All right. Okay. So we have like the final say here. So here's Opus 4.7. So you see that it looks pretty good. if we compare it actually to Sonnet 4.6, we see that we have a few more actually design elements that are provided. Let's say that I want to sign in. I see that I have like this search bar where I can filter out the various events. So that works really good. I have those filters as well here, my ticket, etc. So that looks pretty good. I like both the design as well as the UX depth. And what I call the UX depth is to what extent the model was capable of actually coming up with the full-fledged checkout flow and the various like main elements that we want for the app to actually run properly, at least for MVP to be running. Let's have a look at Sonnet 4.6. So what we can see from the get-go is that there are less elements to the index page. I feel like the various components, they don't stand out as well for Opus 4.6, to be honest, even though that's quite fine. Let's say that we want to connect here. So that's a mocked prototype, so no worries here. Yeah, we can see here that it looks good as well. So it's very much, I mean, looking like what we got for Open 4.7, except that we don't have that search bar here, but we have like also that checkout flow as well. So honestly, both yields the same kind of results. I'd say that Opus 4.7 is still the winner here because I feel like the components do look better on Opus 4.7 as compared to Sonnet 4.6. On GPT 5.4 side, so you can see that the user experience is actually quite different here, but it looks quite good. It's actually something that you probably, I mean, you don't see because you haven't like accessed the PRD here. But the goal of the MVP was to actually come up with like a full user flow where you can actually sign in, select a city, select an event, and then simply like check out and pay for your tickets. So as you can see here, there's no padding. So there's no like internal space within these kind of components. So there are a few, I mean, mistakes from a design standpoint that GPT 5.4 came up with, which is, I mean, disappointing, at least when we compare it to what Opus 4.7 came up with. You can see here again that this card here is not rightly designed because we don't have those spaces here. So yeah, but also what you can see here is that there's no much space between the batch music here and the title of the events. So these are the kind of small things that make me conclude that the models from Anthropic are better. Can I actually go through the full experience? I can. So that's quite good. Let's say that I want to buy a ticket here. How would that work? Okay, I can process. I can view my ticket. I can download the PDF, which is not something that I was able to do with GPT 5.4. Is that something that we can do here as well? Let's have a look. So we're going to use a fake card number. Right, so that's a fake card number, and I can also download my ticket here, okay? All right, so let's just try giving it an assessment here. So regarding the speed, we have everything we want. Design system fidelity, I'm going to actually put a 9 out of 10 for Opus 4.7, almost the same for Sonnet 4.6. I'm just going to put like a 8, simply because I feel like, again, the contrast is not as good here on the Sonnet 4.6. You can see that the dots that we can see in the background, they don't like stand out as much as the dots that we can see here on the index page. So I feel like the user experience will be much more readable for people on this version from Opus 4.7. And regarding GPT 5.4, I'm still going to put out a 6 because it's a level below in terms of and design system fidelity. Regarding UX depth, what I like about Opus 4.7 as well as for Sonnet 4.6 is that the full checkout flow is available, including like being able to download your PDF once you have like the tickets available, which is not the case for GPT 5.4, which will set to actually 7, I think. In terms of interaction, I feel like it's pretty good. You can see that when I hover on a component, we have like this kind of animation, which is also something that we have. Yeah, I mean, we could compare more components, obviously, but honestly, this looks good, and for me, that's a draw basically for both Sonnet 4.7 and Opus. So for Sonnet 4.6 and Opus 4.7, so that's both I would say 8 for both. Regarding GPT 5.4 in terms of interaction, what do we have? You see that we don't have like those components pop up when I hover on them. Here that's the case, but that's not the case everywhere. Yeah, I mean it still looks pretty good, but again, a lot of like design elements are a bit off. But let's keep it like 8 as well here for GPT 5.4. It's actually pretty good. And regarding the sleek design, that's just what we realized with Opus 4.7 as compared to, for instance, GPT 5.4. There's a lot of like design components that seem a bit off, which is why I'm going to actually put I would say 7 for GPT 5.4 because it still looks good. And regarding Sonnet 4.6 and Opus 4.7, for me both look very good. I'm just going to put an 8.5 for Sonnet 4.6 and a 9, simply because it just looks slightly better on Opus 4.7 side, simply because I see a lot more colors. It feels like the experience is much more fun. I mean, the design system does conveys more fun because we have like more colors, which is not exactly the case for Sonnet 4.6, where you can see that we have like a lot of like black on components, which does not like look as fun as what we have for this version here. So that's actually about it. So that was like one specific example. The conclusion here is that yes, Opus 4.7 is the best model to date when it comes to like generating your application, at least when it comes to generating a front end, which is the first step you should start up your project with. So just have a go, test it out on your own project, and please provide in the comment the results from your own tests. My advice is go for Opus 4.7. If you want to save up a bit of tokens, you can use still 4.6, which is less token demanding. So I'm going to keep testing out this model and trying out on other tasks, including backend tasks. But for now, it looks very promising. So thank you very much and see you around.